All right, we're ready to start with Lauren Satchwell, and her topic is the role of emotional intelligence in managing construction projects. Lauren?
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. A warm welcome to you all. Thank you for attending the 7th Annual NMMU QS Conference. As Dr. Crawford or Professor Crawford said, I will be discussing the role of emotional intelligence in managing construction projects. On the agenda for today, we'll do a brief introduction, followed by the literature review, the research methodology, the results and findings, conclusion, recommendations, and then the floor will be open for any questions. Stephen Covey, a great author, once said that when a person has access to both intuitive, creative, and visual right brain, and the analytical, logical, verbal left brain, the whole brain is working. And this tool is best suited to the reality of what life is, because it is not just logical, it is also emotional. So what exactly is emotional intelligence? Before I provide you with a definition, I'd like to share a few of the responses I received from the interviews in terms of their understanding of what emotional intelligence is. EI is all the soft, fluffy stuff. EI is soft soaping someone and making them feel good. One respondent went as far as saying he actually hasn't a cooking clue what EI means. EI is defined as the ability to perceive accurately, appraise and express emotion, the ability to access and or generate feelings when they facilitate thought, the ability to understand emotion and emotional knowledge, and the ability to regulate emotions. Now, if we look at the definition of EI, one word in particular stands out: ability. Ability can be defined as competence in an activity or occupation because of one's skills, training, and qualification. So if competencies are skills which can be developed, then EI competencies can also be developed. Since feelings provide a basis for decision making, it is the emotional aspect that needs to be developed or honed. This is an important deduction, as it implies that anyone can become emotionally intelligent and therefore become more effective in relationships and organizations. Daniel Goleman identified a framework of emotional competencies: self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. Self-awareness is the ability to understand your own feelings and emotions. Self-management is the ability to choose how we think, how we feel, and the actions we take. Social awareness is the ability to recognize and understand the feelings and emotions of others. And relationship management is the ability to express your emotions appropriately and communicate effectively. For decades, these competencies have provided management and executives with tools to develop their EI abilities. Just a bit of background. The IQ mystic. It's the false but widely embraced notion that what matters for success is intellect alone. In other words, construction project performance and success is rather a combination of IQ and EQ competencies. Previous research revealed that EI, when translated into practical competencies, are twice as important as IQ in contributing to outstanding project performance. As a crucial soft skill, EI is reported to have many benefits, yet it remains largely unexplored within the construction industry. The application of a few EI competencies to construction project management. A manager has the ability to influence their employees' emotions and attitudes. So an enthusiastic, positive, open manager will result in higher employee performance and employee satisfaction. On the contrary, if managers drive employees to negativity, stress, and anxiety, performance is bound to plummet. With that said, employees depend on their superiors for specific social and emotional support. One of the most valuable assets in the construction industry are relationships. In today's construction industry, you cannot be a dictator or a stick beater anymore. Management need to understand, interpret, and manage their emotions, as well as the emotions of others. And then act in an appropriate and tactful manner. This will determine whether employees and workers will follow their managers, not because they have to, but because they want to. So, what EI competencies should managers possess in order to promote job satisfaction and improve project performance? Well, firstly, managers should create an open and trustworthy working environment. They need to provide employees with support and acknowledgement where it is due for their hard work. They should show genuine interest and compassion towards their employees and understand their needs and their interests. They should maintain high levels of communication with their employees and be proactive in responding to employees' issues, as well as acknowledge the causes of work-related stress. All right, research methodology. The study carried out made use of a qualitative approach by developing a set of questions based on standardized, open-ended interview approach. The reason I chose a qualitative approach was because I was able to obtain in-depth information about specific individuals in the construction industry. I was able to explore the respondents' individual interpretations of specific phenomenon and situations. The qualitative approach suited the objectives of the study, as well as it facilitated the opportunity for construction personnel to confidentially articulate their personal feelings and experiences. So the first step was to establish the objectives of the study. Secondly, the instrument was designed based on the standard open-ended interview approach, which comprised of two sections. The first section was the demographic information, a bit of background about the interviewees, and then the second section was divided up into 4 sub-problems or subheadings, which derived from the hypotheses of the study. Thirdly, the interviews were conducted with the 8 purposefully selected candidates. And then finally, the data was recorded using an audio voice recorder and transcribed, organized, and coded so as to aid the analysis process. The population and the sample. The population consisted of the members from the ECMBA list in the Nelson Mandela Metropole. 8 candidates were purposefully selected according to availability, and identical questions were. Each candidate was asked identical questions in order to realize the required objectives of the study. These 8 candidates consisted of site management. Okay, the results and findings. The respondents were asked if they experienced stress. 6 agreed that they experienced stress, while 5 agreed that they experienced stress on a daily basis. 1 respondent disclosed that he is in fact taking medication to deal with stress and anxiety as a result of his job. 2 elderly respondents said that they used to experience a lot of stress in their earlier years, but they no longer experience stress anymore due to the medication they take for their health. both respondents, in fact, had heart attacks, and they both said that they believed at a young age that it was as a result of their high-stress jobs and the pressures of the industry. 8 respondents said that the causes of stress they identified time, money, and people as being the major causes of stress. And they all agreed that spending time with their families and partaking in a few hobbies definitely aids in dealing with stress. 3 of the respondents said that that stress management strategies do exist within the firm to help management deal with stress, meaning that 5 companies don't implement stress management strategies. 5 did agree, though, that it was very important to implement stress management strategies within the firm to encourage positivity and collaboration. None of the respondents had difficulty expressing their opinion to a group or to individuals. 2 respondents make use of their experience and knowledge when they are being assertive, and another two respondents, states that depending on the situation or the circumstances or the people whom they're dealing with will determine the manner in which, or the style or approach they use to deal with stress. To be assertive. All 7 that knew what emotional intelligence was, they were able to describe it, and they all agreed that it was important, especially today. And EI will often distinguish a good manager from a bad manager or a poor manager. Then 4 respondents agreed that management lacks empathy, which is quite sad. 2 of the respondents agreed that it is... I'm just losing my train of thought. One of the respondents, however, previous research has been conducted and does suggest, though, that people do develop negative attitudes if their managers do not engage in interpersonal relationships with their employees. However, only 1 respondent agreed that he has developed a negative attitude as a result. 6 respondents, yes, they agreed emotional intelligence is very important. And the general consensus was that the construction is getting things done through the agency of people. And if you're not emotionally intelligent, you will not be successful in construction. Right, although EI is a relatively new concept, particularly in the construction industry, its importance is tremendously evident and is perceived as a necessary managerial proficiency. Goldman believes that EI may be the long sought-after missing link that will unite the ability and motivational or dispositional determinants of job performance. A highly experienced, knowledgeable, and skilled manager may possess the required IQ for the job, but the manner in which he communicates and engages with his employees will determine whether the employees will follow him or not. So the study was conducted based on the notion that successful completion of any construction project is ultimately a reflection of both EI and IQ competencies, where good managers encompass both. However, only a few of the findings corroborate arguments proposed in the literature in terms of the role of EI in managing construction projects. This proposes that perhaps the study could be further explored in order to gain insight from lower level managers or lower level employees and workers, possibly site quantity surveyors, in order to, within the same companies, in order to establish their views and opinions of their managers and superiors' EI competencies. Any questions? Thank you.
Kathy?
A very interesting presentation, Lauren. Thank you.
Thank you.
And so you put a lot of work into it. It's probably in the paper or in your final dissertation, but I didn't quite get the link between what you were talking about initially in the EI and then why it would appear, anyway, from what you presented, that the focus of your interviews was on stress management.
Those were...
Sorry to put you on the spot.
Yeah, it was difficult because it came out that stress was the biggest. It actually, yeah, the literature. My actual thesis is going to have the higher percentage of literature based on stress management. I think my focus should be around stress management, in fact, because that was very evident when I did my interviews that was a major one of the EI competencies which really stood out, or lack of EI competencies, can I say? But yeah.
But I mean, you don't have to do it now, but possibly just to make sure, work with your supervisor to make sure that you have
a link
that
yeah.
through in your interview, or
yes.
the defense of the research question up front.
Yes.
Because I didn't quite get it. Because you were talking about EI, and then suddenly your focus of your study appeared to be around stress.
Stress, yeah.
Okay, so just make sure that ribbon is through the dissertation.
Okay.
Right.
Thanks, Lauren.
Thank you.
Your 8 responded candidates, contractors, were they all the same size of contractors? Because I believe that the stress levels would be
different.
between the smaller and the larger contractors.
The biggest was, I would say, Speyers, and then actually I lie, Murray and Roberts was the biggest contractor, and then a small there was a mixture, a definite mixture.
Would you say that that's a difference in?
Definitely. A lot of the respondents actually agreed that some of them were from smaller companies, and they've said that we don't have much stress, but I know when I worked on the bigger projects, especially in a managerial position, we experienced major stress, and hence why they've gone smaller. Yeah. But I've still got more interviews coming up.
Janita?
You said that some of the companies had stress management programs. Can you give an example of that?
Basically, they do training, emotional intelligence training. 2 of the interviewees had been on courses and which the company actually implements and sends them on externally. Yeah.
So most of it is external.
External programs, yeah. Generally.
Sharon?
Your interviews, were they face-to-face or telephonic?
Face-to-face.
Face-to-face.
Yeah.
Do you think that might have skewed some answers?
Definitely. Possibly because I had to probe a bit here and there, because a lot of...
I was thinking a lot, like one person saying he was on meditation.
Yeah.
Maybe they wouldn't admit.
Well, yes. Yes, definitely. Yeah.
It might just be worth putting that as a possible limitation. Not
Limitation, yes.
something, but
Okay.
sort of say.
Okay.
Because that might limit the honesty in some of the answers.
Yes.
Especially when you're dealing with more personal.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Open to the floor. Claire, this is your interest area.
It is so interesting. It would have been interesting to see more answers from the example group about maybe measuring their emotional intelligence, like how they would deal with a particular situation.
Yes.
Not that you necessarily want to judge them, but it might be more accurate.
Now I have actually got a lot of in most cases the questions were answered with stories of how they would deal with. So I could then put that in my final thesis. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sure.